Let's do a quick update on the drawbar. So I'll apply it to the chart. You can see now we have kind of a different option than we had before. When the icon gets applied to the NinjaTrader toolbar, it's grayed out initially. And what I've changed here is if we middle click that button, the drawbar will appear. If we middle click it again, the drawbar will disappear. So I've added the option in to be able to quickly hide and show the drawbar itself if you would ever elect to want to do that. As you can see, when we click on it, the only two options that are mandatory in the drawbar anymore are the two eyes, the hide all and the reset. In order to get anything else up here, we have to left click on the icon. And now you can see that the menu or this form has changed quite a bit. Prior to this, the channels were kind of down here and we only had about 4 things in the miscellaneous. Now almost everything, except for these 2 things that are in the drawbar, you have an option to put there or not. Now, initially, everything in the lines and the shapes and the channels and the markers and the Fibonacci, that was all there before. So initially here, I'm going to just activate all the things in the miscellaneous and then click Show and discuss these items real quick because these are the new items. The first thing I think you're going to find of a lot of use is this middle icon in between the 2 eyes. This is a color palette, color style palette. If I middle click on that color style palette, you'll see another bar appears as well. Now, just to make this simple, I'm going to throw a pitchfork on here real quick so that I can do something. Normally, if we would draw a pitchfork, it would be drawn in whatever you have set in your standard default settings for the pitchfork or for whatever draw object in Ninja. In mine, my default is all set up for white, and then I've got these extra things set up, and this is the default setup that I have for a pitchfork. Now, if I were to elect to want to draw another one, and I go from here to here to here, it's always going to draw it in the same color. Now, for a lot of the objects, it's not a real big deal to double click on your draw object and to change it to a different color. Except when you get into triangles and pitchforks and trend lines, where now if I want to change this downward pitchfork to a different color, I have to change 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different settings to a different color. I'm going to go ahead and delete that real quick. If I activate this little draw tool, this style color palette up here, I can turn it on, or I can turn it off, and I can turn it on. If I would elect to want to draw a yellow pitchfork, I can turn my color palette on, click yellow, click my draw object, and now my draw object is drawn in the color that I selected. Not only can we do the color, but I can change this to, let's just say we want to do this one in blue, and I want a width of the line to be wider, and I want the style of the line to be dot, dot, dot. I can select those in the palette, select my draw object, draw it again, and now that draw object will be drawn in however I select the color and styles that I've set forth in the palette itself. Now again, if you, we'll just come in here and throw a line on here, and I'll throw a trend channel on here as well real quick. The color palette is off because of this icon. It's on when we see the plus, it's off when we see this. So if I were to draw a line, I could draw a line real easy. This is my default line. Now, if I wanted to change the color of that, it's real simple to change the color of a line. The palette doesn't do a lot of good there. But if I draw a trend channel, and I were to say that I wanted to look at a channel, because of the way that I have my channel set up, there's so many lines on here. If I were to go back in and look at this and try to change that to a different color, I have to change every one of these to whatever color I want them to be. This option should make it very nice and easy for you to draw something in whatever color you want. Okay? Now, be careful here, because sometimes you don't, sometimes you'll want to draw in a different color and a different style, and then the next time you don't. Just turn your palette off. The next time you draw whatever you draw, it will be in your default setting, color, and style. If you don't want to see the palette, just middle click on the icon again, and it's hidden. Middle click on it again, and it's back. One thing you're also going to find is you used to left click this. If we were to throw a line on here or throw a trend channel on here, we used to left click this to hide. We used to left click to reset. We used to middle click to do some things. We used to left click to do other things. I've tried to standardize everything on middle click now. So if I want to hide those, I middle click my red eye, and all my objects are hidden. We can see that as the red eye gets grayed out. If I middle click that again, they all come back. Middle click the red eye, middle click the green reset, they're all back. Now, this is the same for almost everything. Everything now is middle click, not left click. Let's remove these. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of this, this, and this. I had a customer that wanted to hide NinjaTrader's toolbar. And we do that by this icon right here. If we hover over any one of our icons, it'll give us a toolbar shortcut or a tooltip per se. So if I middle click that, I can hide NinjaTrader's toolbar altogether. The problem this customer had was they used the cursor. They were changing the cursor, the crosshair and the pointer a lot, and they were also using the snap mode to snap it to a bar and disable a bar depending on what they were drawing at the time. So in order to make this more efficient, I've added the same cursor button as what we see here. We can come up here and throw that on crosshair, and we can see that's on crosshair, that's on crosshair. Now we have crosshairs, Now we have a pointer. This is Chart Trader. So as we can see, our Chart Trader is open over here. If I middle click on that, now this is different than this one down here. In the toolbar itself, you're going to left click. Oh, excuse me. In NinjaTrader's toolbar, you're going to left click to hide that. In left click. In mine, you're going to middle click to hide that and middle click to show it. I want to make sure that this isn't confusing as well. Anything in the drawbar that is grayed out means it is hidden. If it's not grayed out, it is shown. Now, in this case, for the Chart Trader, it's a little different than NinjaTrader's toolbar. In NinjaTrader's toolbar, when it's shown, it's kind of highlighted. So these are going to be the exact opposite. If I middle click it here, this is shown and we can see that that changes. Now, I might need to fix that so that if this is clicked, the icon up here, the shade changes. I didn't notice that until just now. I'll fix that. This is our snap mode. We can snap our objects to a bar. How that plays into effect, let's just throw Fibonacci extensions on here. We'll draw an extension from here to here. Notice how it's snapping to the bottom of that bar. Stay in draw mode. This was on here before. Remove all draw objects. This was on here before. There is no middle click to the remove all draw objects. Show trades and price line and labels. These were all on here before. They're just now middle click now. If you wanted to see a price line, we middle click that. A price line shows up where price is trading. When you activate this, this takes one tick of price in order for it to show up. If you middle click it, it will disappear right away. But if you middle click to show it, it will take one tick for it to show on your chart. Again, this icon is hide the NinjaTrader toolbar. And then I've added I had a customer that apparently is using a bunch of indicators, and he wanted to know if I could hide all the bars on his chart. All he wanted to see was his indicators. So I've added a little icon here that allows us to show all bars or hide all bars, show the current bar or hide the current bar, and show your price markers. Your price marker is this right here, this 106.04. If I click on that, my price marker goes away. If I come back and click on that again, my price marker comes back in. So now if I were to middle click that, all of your bars are gone, and the only thing you have left is indicators. I'm not sure how many people are ever going to use that particular feature. What I put in there for myself, and I want to try something, is this current bar right here. If I use the pull down and just select that current bar, give me one more tick and this bar will disappear, and you can see that that bar has disappeared. So now if I turn my price line off and I turn my price marker off, this would be like if you were testing something and going back from the beginning and saying, okay, bar by bar, how do I want to look at candlesticks? Do I want to get short? Do I want to get long? What is that based off of? And you're not watching the price action of this bar. If I go back one bar, You're not watching the price action of the next bar. You're making a decision for a trade based on the pattern you're seeing, and you're not letting the current bar influence your decision to get in or out. When the next bar is completely formed, the bar will be here. We can then make a decision to move our stop, get out of our trade, get in a trade. It's just something that I want to test for myself. And the last option here is a chart pan feature. I had another customer send me an indicator he found from somewhere or another and said, hey, this is kind of neat. I want to be able to pan my chart instead of just being able to click on the chart and as you grab it, it just scrolls left and right. Now, if you were to hold your control key down, come over here into the price panel, you can scroll up and down, but you can't scroll left and right. What this will allow you to do is now if we activate that, I middle click that, I have to hold, I've changed this from the last version, okay, for existing customers that have version 3.9. 3.10 here is the newest version, and I've changed it just a little. It now requires a control held down in order to pan your chart any way you want. Now, if I take the control key off, you can see even though this is active, it is not going to do anything until I hold the control key down. Did that mainly because I found that on a couple charts I leave this active all the time, and I don't want to accidentally come over here, grab the chart, and have the darn chart be moving around on me. So I played around with a shift key and an alt, and I found that for me control works the best, so control it is. Again, we just middle click it to inactivate it, and it would no longer be there. That pretty much covers all of the new features. Now if we left click this and we show all, left click, select all, the select all does not stay selected. It just selects all of the boxes here. Unselect, selects all, select all, selects all. I've added a cancel button to this form. So if you decide that you opened this form and made some changes and decided that you didn't want them anymore, before you had the option of either showing it and the chart had to refresh or hiding it and the chart had to refresh. Now you have a cancel button that'll just cancel anything you did and you won't have to face a chart refresh. I click again, select all, show. Now here are all of the icons that are now available for us. If your chart happens to be small, I have some where I've got 3 going across and 2 high, so my charts are more on the lines of this. Even though they go off the screen, there is still a little drop down here in the corner that allows you access to everything that is there. Now, I've found that I pretty much customize these and say no, and I don't use any of this stuff. I don't use fib circles or time extensions or extended line. I really don't ever use the hide all labels button. I don't ever use the stay in draw mode. And that's kind of probably what I would have as a standard toolbar. All right, I think that's about it.